Most people think that you need to be training 5 to 6 days a week to get in shape, but it's just not true. If you're busy, short on time, or you just don't want to be in the gym 5 to 6 times a week, that is absolutely fine. You can get into unbelievable shape with just 3 hours per week. And in this video, I'm going to explain how. But before we get stuck in, make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and drop the video a like. So let's get stuck into exactly how I would structure a 3-day training week. Day 1 would be upper push focused and lower pull focused. And here's an exact example of how I would structure the workout. Exercise number 1 would be a flat dumbbell chest press. Exercise number 2 would be a Romanian deadlift. Exercise number 3 would be a seated dumbbell shoulder press. Exercise number 4 would be a barbell hip thrust. Exercise number 5 would be a seated cable fly. And exercise number 6 would be a seated leg curl. Day 2 would be upper pull focused and lower push focused. Again, I will give you an exact example that you can follow. So exercise number 1 would be a lat pull down. Exercise number 2 would be a leg press. Exercise number 3 would be a seated cable row. Exercise number 4 would be a Bulgarian split squat. Exercise number 5 would be a cable pullover. And exercise number 6 would be a leg extension. And then moving it on to day 3, you'd look to combine the two. You'd have upper body push and pulling movements and lower body push and pulling movements. And then you might want to place a little bit more focus on either the lower body or the upper body, depending on what you want to bring up more. So here is an example of a full body session of your 3-day training split, which is a little bit more upper body focus to end the week. So exercise number 1 would be an incline dumbbell chest press. Exercise number 2 would be a conventional deadlift. Exercise number 3 would be a close grip lat pull down. Exercise number 4 would be a hack squat. And then you might finish off with a tricep for the arm. So for example, a tricep push down straight into a bicep curl, straight into a dumbbell lateral raise. Now, if you're only training 3 times per week, remember, training intensity is absolutely key. Look, training intensity is important regardless, but it becomes even more important if you are limited to training 3 times per week. You can't afford to be coasting through your workout, scrolling on your phone between sets. You need to go in there with intent. Every session and every single repetition has to count if you do want to progress your physique. You've got fewer total sets across the week, so naturally, the effort you put into each set has to be on point. So make sure that even if you're training 3 times a week, you're still pushing every single set close to failure. You're still tracking your lifts and you're actually trying to beat what you lifted last week. But believe me, 3 quality sessions with intent beats 5 to 6 half-hour sessions every single day of the week. Now, obviously, this training split alone will not get you into the shape that you want to be in, as training, of course, is just one piece of the puzzle. You have to make sure that your nutrition matches your goals too. So if you're trying to drop body fat, that means being in a calorie deficit. If you're trying to put on size, that means being in a slight calorie surplus. And whether you're in a deficit or a surplus, if you do want to make sure you build and preserve muscle mass, you need to make sure you're hitting your protein targets. But if you can only commit to training 3 times a week, the training split that I've just mentioned enables you to hit each muscle group twice per week, which, as mentioned, is optimal for hypertrophy. And if you execute every session with intent and intensity, and you make sure that you continue to implement progressive overload, you will progress your physique as long as you pair it with the correct nutrition. And of course, if you want more advice with regards to nutrition, this is not the video for that. There are plenty of videos on my channel that go into detail on how you can set up your nutrition. So if you're someone who's super busy, but you actually want to look like you lift, then give this 3-day training split a go. It's the exact same approach that I use if I can only train 3 times a week, and I've used it with tons of clients to help them get into amazing shape too. Anyway, that wraps up this video. Very much a short and sweet one today. I hope you did enjoy it. If you have taken some value from it, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Drop the video a like, and I will catch you in the next one.